Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Yes, people, welcome back to Let's Talk Premier League. We're here for Transfer Talk, 3 p.m. You know what that means? That does mean Transfer Talk. Before we get started, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching on Twitter, come join us on YouTube. Get involved in the great community that we've started building here. A couple of comments before we get into what we're talking about, because, boy, there's been some big shit happening in Liverpool. Big shit. Zachary says I may switch teams. Not very confident about Liverpool this year. As an American, I'm not obliged. Yeah, I mean Liverpool. If what is spoken about happens, holy shit. That's all I'm saying. Mustafa says West Ham want 100 million for Rice. This is true, but you also have something that they want. So a deal with you and West Ham is probably going to be easier than you and Chelsea, because neither of you want to pay that £100 million. But you do have something the West Ham want. Jesse Lingard. I mean, if anyone could do a deal, surely United should be the team that can do a deal, because you have Jesse Lingard. But let's get into it. Let's get straight into what we're talking about today. Because, my Lord, we've got some big shit going on. We're going to talk Harry Wilson. He's joining Fulham this summer, and Liverpool are not going to get what they asked for him either. So even more annoyance for Liverpool. But this is something that is going to happen. It's only a matter of time. This is huge. Jordan Henderson could be leaving Liverpool this summer in a shock move to Paris. Nobody saw this coming. This was broken, I think, yesterday. Nobody in their right mind would have seen this coming. No one. I didn't think it. No one would have seen this coming. It was monumental. Huge. It is huge what we're hearing. What we are hearing. We're also talking Declan Rice. Manchester United are to chase Declan Rice once they have signed Raphael Varane. Reports are suggesting they don't need to sell Pogba or Donny van de Beek to fund this move. That is down to Sancho's payment structure and how United have been able to structure that payment. We're also talking Robert Lewandowski, because Chelsea are to make a shock move for Robert Lewandowski this summer, which mega if they can land Robert Lewandowski, that is mega, bigger than Kane, bigger than Haaland, in my opinion. If you manage to get Robert Lewandowski, you've hit the jackpot. We're also talking Danny Ings, because Danny Ings has rejected Spurs as he is holding out for a move to Manchester. One of the only club really interested is Manchester City. Obviously, you have got Chelsea, who are quite keen on him. But yeah, quite sure we're hearing today. Comment here from Cop. Yes, people. Yes, Cop. How are we doing, mate? How are we doing? But yeah, mega moves being made by absolutely everyone. But the shocking one is Hendo. But we'll get into him after we've quickly spoken about this man, Harry Wilson. Fulham are favourites to sign Harry Wilson from Liverpool as things stands, but no official offer tabled yet. The Reds are holding firm on their valuation. Wilson has joined up with Jurgen Klopp's first team squad over in Austria for week 2 of pre-season. That was said yesterday. That was said 24 hours ago. The recent update is expecting Harry Wilson to be the next exit at Liverpool. Negotiations ongoing with Fulham, who are leading the chase company. Not sure the Reds will get their full asking price, but there is a lot of interest. One to keep an eye on this week for sure. So yeah, even though he's joined Jurgen Klopp's pre-season camp, he's joined the first team squad over there. They are expecting Harry Wilson to depart Liverpool this summer. Now, I sort of feel for this lad, because if it weren't for the season that everyone was experiencing last year, if it weren't for that, I think Wilson probably gets a bit more of a crack of the whip, per se. I think he probably gets into the squad a couple more times. He's able to showcase his ability. If they didn't have what the hell happened at their centre-back crisis last year, I think he's given more of a go. But I do think it's right for Harry's career for him to move on. I think, look, you can be at one club as a youngster, and you can hope that you're going to get your spot. But at the end of the day, you can't wait forever. You can't hang around that club forever hoping that you'll break into the first team. In front of Harry Wilson on the right-hand side is Mohamed Salah. Now, I like Harry Wilson. I think he's got a lot of ability about him, deadly from a set piece as well. He's not better than Mohamed Salah. And when you're in that position, I'm sorry, for your career, you have to leave. So the best way I look at it is Brandon Williams is currently fighting Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now, Aaron Wan-Bissaka isn't way ahead of him, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka isn't world class. He's a good right back who can do a job. Brandon Williams isn't there yet, but he probably does have that thought that I can probably dislodge Aaron Wan-Bissaka if I get a run of games. Hasn't been given that run of games. He'll go out on loan. Hopefully for him, he has a really good loan and he's able to do everything that he needs to do to convince Ollie, put him in the squad. Maybe he offers a bit more than Wan-Bissaka going forward. Maybe he's a bit more all-round. But that's on Brandon. But for Harry, how do you dislodge Salah? Unless Salah was to leave, so unless Liverpool were to sell Mohamed Salah, how do you dislodge him? How do you dislodge Mohamed Salah? Well, the simple answer to that is you can't. You cannot dislodge a guy who has been Liverpool's best player. Right? You just can't. So I watched a few games of Harry for Cardiff in the Championship, and I thought he was ridiculously good. And he came on for Wales in the Euros a couple of times, and again I thought he did a good job. But unfortunately for this young man, it's simply Salah is way ahead of you and isn't going to get left out of the team for absolutely any young player. So really difficult for Harry. I don't think he's been given a fair enough crack of the whip from Liverpool, but I do think his time at Liverpool is near the end. He may play a pre-season game, but I doubt that's going to change anything. If he hasn't been a part of Liverpool's plans over the last couple of years, he certainly won't to now. He's got a couple of Carabao Cup games under his belt, but that is about it. So I do expect Harry Wilson to leave Liverpool. Cop saying Hendo can't go. I will cry if it happens. Doing good. Henderson is just slide tackle, passion merchant, nothing special. I would disagree with that. He's an engine of a team. He's that player that gives that spark, progresses that ball, does the dirty side of the game that you need people to do. For the people like Thiago to be effective, you need to put him next to someone who's just going to do the dirty work. Jordan Henderson has offered multiple years of cover for Trent Alexander-Arnold on that right-hand side, which allows Trent's best attributes of his game, which is going forward, to be expressed. One of the reasons why Trent wasn't as good last season compared to previous seasons was because Henderson wasn't in that midfield. He was stood next to him at centre-back. These sorts of things happen. Matt Henderson is a talent, a proper good player. And big up to RJ. But on the talk of Henderson, wow, I'm still in shock. Still in shock that this logo has been put next to this man. I didn't think this would ever happen. Delph is guilty. Look, we're not going to comment. This channel certainly won't comment. Look, you can have your own opinions. You can comment what you think it is. We won't be commenting as a channel. Disrespectful. Obviously, a police investigation is still underway, so we're not going to speculate. We're not going to say anything. All we know is that Everton have suspended a first-team player from their squad pending police investigation. That's all we're going to talk. Well, that's all we're going to say about it. All we're saying is that a Premier League 31-year-old married man has been arrested or was arrested, and Everton have suspended a first-team player pending police investigation. Make of that what you will. We're not going to comment on it any further unless something is more concrete. Henderson will be a huge blow for Liverpool, and they won't be able to replace him next season, says RJ. I totally agree with this comment. I totally agree with you, RJ, there. He's not only your leader, well, not your leader, but he's not only Liverpool's leader, their captain, their engine, their most experienced player at Liverpool. He's also very close to Jurgen Klopp. He's got a very good rapport with the fans. He's the first captain that has led them to to Premier League trophy since 1990. He's picked up a Champions League, a Club World Cup, a Super Cup. I mean, I don't know what more he needs to be doing before there's respect. But this is mad. And the thing is, Gini Wijnaldum, that says to me everything that I need to know. Liverpool do not like giving contracts to older players. He's still got 2 years left. I don't think Liverpool wanted Gini Wijnaldum to go for free. I think they've learnt from this. And I think it also proves Jurgen Klopp has got no say whatsoever about what players he keeps. He wanted to keep Gini Wijnaldum. Gini Wijnaldum's demands weren't met by Liverpool, so he left. Jurgen Klopp does not have a say in the players that he has at his football club. At his disposal, he does not have that say. You have to ask what Jurgen Klopp does have the say on. Maybe the water sponsor, or maybe the lunch menu. What does Jurgen Klopp actually have a say on? Because this is mad. And if this does happen, my Lord, this is going to destroy Liverpool. And it would not surprise me if Jurgen just walks out the door. Just walks out and goes, do you know what? You've sold Gini. You've sold... Gini's gone. John Henderson's now been sold. Do you know what? Stick your club. Go fuck yourselves. I'm off. I'm done with this shit. And it wouldn't surprise me because Jurgen Klopp is one of the best managers out in the world right now. And Liverpool are going, well, we're going to sell all your players behind your back and you're going to deal with it. Madness. Why do PSG want these aging midfielders? Because in the French league, you don't need to have the pace, do you? It's a weak league. It's a really weak league. But also, you've got the players like Mbappe, you've got a player like Verratti and all of these players that have the pace. Hendo doesn't need pace. His experience in that midfield is what PSG need. They want that experience. They want a Champions League. How do you deliver that Champions League? Well, you go get people who want it. So you get Gini Wijnaldum, who's won a Champions League. You get John Henderson, who's won a Champions League. Donnarumma hasn't, but he's top-class goalkeeper. You get Sergio Ramos, who's won a Champions League. There's something in common with most of the players they brought in. They have a Champions League. What is the one thing PSG really, really want? A Champions League title. That is simple, really. Is many Liverpool fans' favourite bloke? Yeah. Grit gone to Porto, which I'm happy about. Sick of seeing same old players returning from loans every pre-season, like seeing your annoying neighbours. Henderson isn't going anywhere. I'm not worried. He will sign a new contract. Trust me. Liverpool, Chris, I don't trust you. I'm afraid I don't, because this just screams Genie Wijnaldum. The difference is Genie Wijnaldum let his contract run down. Liverpool lost money. Liverpool don't like losing money. They like to drain every last penny out of every single player so they can invest that into their squad, because FSG don't want to put in their own money, or they don't have their own money to put in. So I don't trust you. I think Henderson could well leave. I think we'll get into it, but yeah, I think he could leave. Who's even been Liverpool's young stars? I tried to name top 3 attackers under 24. Well, Harry Wilson, Harvey Elliott, and Curtis Jones. They're your 3. How many of them get through? Maybe Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones will. Harry Wilson won't. Genie hasn't been replaced. No backup for Trent. Well, you have got backups. They've got Neco Williams on the right, Simicas on the left. Now, it's up to you to decide if they're good enough centre-backs, but they are backup, some say. All their centre-backs are injury-prone. Well, Van Dijk has only ever suffered one injury like that, so he's not injury-prone. Gomez is a bit injury-prone, I will give you that, but they brought in Konate. You've also got Reece Williams and Nat Phillips, who did an all right job for Liverpool last summer. Matip is, yes, Matip is way far injury-prone. It's actually disturbing. But yeah, so many. Hopefully Wilson leaves too. He's championship level. Chris, you need him for squad depth. I don't think they need Harry Wilson because they didn't have him last season. I think they're replacing Harry Wilson with Harvey Elliott. Look at last season. Wilson clearly not good enough for Liverpool. Salah needs a backup. Minamino not reliable. Yeah, I'd say that. Wilson is amazing, says Cop. Cop likes a bit of Wilson. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Absolutely, so am I. The Argyle show. The first Argyle show we've got. We have the Liverpool show, we've got the United show, Chelsea show, Arsenal show. Got the Argyle show, the biggest show on the channel. Very excited. Got a lot of great things to do tomorrow with me and Liam. So make sure you check that out. 6 p.m. tomorrow, the Argyle show. Well done smashing it in the championship, just like Brewster. Zachary, they chuck youngsters out like it's a competition to get rid of them. I agree, Minamino ain't good enough either. I am paying more 0.5 million for Brewster. Unpopular opinion, if Henderson leaves, Liverpool won't get top 4. I totally agree. Who the hell is doing the dirty work apart from Fabinho? Henderson is vital to Jurgen's tactics. The cover he offers for Trent. If he goes, fucked. Absolutely fucked. I mean, Cop, if he leaves, who replaces him? Let's see if RJ's bold prediction plays off. Well, no, I think that's true, though. I you can call it being salty, or you can just accept the fact that if Jordan Henderson was to go, Liverpool are fucked. Yes, you will still have Salah. Yes, you may have Mane, who I don't know what Mane's turning up this year. If someone could help, that'd be brilliant. What the hell do you do? Then we sign Salah. You have high hopes of FSG. You have really high hopes of FSG. Real high hopes. Big up to Wolf in the chat as well. You have you have extremely high hopes for FSG. That's all I'm saying. FSG are done. They're shit. But let's talk about what there's a lot about this that is mad. There is now a real possibility that John Henderson will leave Liverpool this summer, as Atletico Madrid and PSG are monitoring the situation and will move for Henderson if the opportunity arrives. Henderson, the England international, has entered the final 2 years of his contract at Anfield, and his representatives held talks with the club's hierarchy about an extension before the European Championships. But Sportsmail understands the discussions were not fruitful, and there is now an impasse. As things stand, there is no indication when or if talks will resume. The 31-year-old is only one of 5 Liverpool players to have played 10 seasons in Liverpool in the Premier League for Liverpool, and has been a driving force in the success that has been achieved during Jurgen Klopp's reign. But there is now a real possibility that he will leave this summer, as Atletico Madrid and PSG are monitoring the situation and will move for Henderson if the opportunity arises. PSG manager Mauricio Pochettino is a huge fan of Henderson's aggressive style and wants to add more dynamism to his squad that is being assembled to win the Champions League. As I said, PSG's target is to just win the Champions League. They frankly couldn't give a fuck at anything else. They won that Champions League. The French side is also seeking to wrestle back the Ligue 1 title, the Ligue 1 title from Lille. Would not have any issues being able to pay for Henderson and would like the idea of reuniting him with his former Liverpool teammate Gini Wijnaldum. The situation will come as a shock to supporters who saw Henderson lead their club to their first domestic title since 1990, but he would be prepared to leave to move if Liverpool give the indication they are ready to sell. Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool manager would loathe to lose a man whom he has come to rely upon in some ways, particularly having seen the influential Gini Wijnaldum when his contract expired. And it just gets even more mad, because if Henderson is willing and ready to leave, if Liverpool want to sell, I mean, that's half the job done straight away. It's if Jordan Henderson leaves Liverpool, I wouldn't even banter Liverpool fans for it because they're going to be heartbroken. How rich is PSG? Roman Abramovich style times about 50. Actually, maybe Man City style times about 200 or something like that. You know what I mean? They're very rich, a lot of money. Yeah, Cop, we're not speculating. I mean, you can speculate all you want. We as a channel won't be commenting on it. It's pending a police investigation. There's a lot of news out there, and I'm not willing to really discuss it. It certainly won't get brought up on stream. We're just talking to each other. Euro football is a battle with money. Same teams at the top for decades. We wouldn't stand that behaviour in the US of A. Not true. You had Liverpool win the Champions League. You've had Bayern Munich, Chelsea. We have different winners every year. Look, yes, of course, the same clubs with that money. So you United's, PSG's, Chelsea's, Liverpool's, and all of that do with Real Madrid and Barca and all that. They're all in it a lot. But that's because money is cash is king in football. But look, it works some sorts. Yes, could we make it more even? Absolutely, of course we could. But that's not really a debate that we need. PSG's owners and Man City's owners don't care about their clubs. They're full of monopoly paychecks. Man City, they don't care about fans, I meant. Chris, go Google what Man City's owners have done for the community. They've built new training facilities. They've brought a new... I mean, just Google it, because there's too much to talk about. But Google what Man City's owners have done for that community in Manchester. They care a lot. It's very... In fact, they probably care a lot more about the community than the Glazers, than FSG. The Roman Abramovich may be slightly different, but Man City's owners have pumped massive amounts of money into the community trust, and all of this stuff. They really do care about their fans. I would suggest you Google what Man City's owners have done. Look, you can question where their money comes from. That's fine, but you can't question their admiration for their fans and for the people in and around that area. They really do care. But enough of that. Let's talk Declan Rice. Manchester United, this is according to the Muppeteers. So everything I'm hearing right now leads me to believe United are far from finished after Varane. They still want Declan Rice, and they can afford it without selling Pogba due to a well-structured payment plans for Sancho and Varane when completed. They also go on to say, yeah, Trippier isn't off too, but I don't think progress on the fee has been made yet. So around this one, They can still get Declan Rice if anyway, have to go. Not a problem. Cheers for watching, Chris. Catch you in a bit. But yeah, according to about United and all of this. So Manchester United, far from done. They really want to invest in that squad. You can comment why they want to invest in that squad, whether that's because Ollie or because they're all of that shit with the Super League, whatever. Manchester United have got apparently really good structured payment plans for Sancho and Varane, which suggests to me I think they're paying 17 million up front for Sancho or 17.5 million in installments, which is crazy. It's a very good deal for Manchester United. If they've done the same with Raphael Varane, then you could easily see them go to West Ham. West Ham will, of course, want more up front. There's no doubt about that. West Ham also have Manchester United also have something the West Ham really want themselves. That is Jesse Lingard. So I think whilst it's very difficult to get Declan Rice, especially if Chelsea are in for him, I think the price has put Chelsea off. So I don't think Chelsea are going to go to anywhere near that 80 million mark. I think they're really looking for that striker, and I don't think they're about to go waste their money on Declan Rice because they don't really need him. I'm not saying Declan Rice ain't a good player because I do rate Jesse Lingard, Declan Rice. But Manchester United have Jesse Lingard. Now, West Ham United really want Jesse Lingard. The issue is they can't afford the £30 million that Manchester United want for Jesse Lingard. Fair enough. But Declan Rice does want to leave West Ham now. His head has been turned. He wants to make that step up in his career. He's said to West Ham, or he's sort of said, or it's been put out there, shall I say, that he would be annoyed if £60 million bids were not considered, considering he cost them nothing, blah, blah, blah. But this is the thing. Exactly what Mustafa says. Swap deal with Jesse Lingard plus 60 million. Now, I think that could easily be more conceivable. Now, if United get in there quickly, so let's say you get Varane done and then go straight to West Ham and go, right, sit. We want Declan Rice, but we also know you want Jesse Lingard. Okay, well, let's do a deal. We'll give you 60 million plus Jesse Lingard. Here's the deal. And if West Ham are smart enough, they'll probably go, fuck it, yeah, why not? We're going to lose him anyway. His head's being turned. We'll take Jesse Lingard. You can have Declan Rice, plus we'll have that 60 million. They can then invest that into their squad or another DM, however you want to see it. And they've also then got their cam or wherever they view using Jesse Lingard sorted for this season as well. So I think United have got more power than Chelsea on this deal, because I don't think Chelsea will go above the 60, 70 million pound mark for Declan Rice, especially as they're desperately trying to find a world-class striker to come in next season. And also Tchouaméni, maybe cheaper options out there might be better for Chelsea if they're going to pump their money up front. So that leaves the door open for Manchester United. Now, Chelsea, of course, are interested in Declan Rice, but if they don't want to go above that 60, 70 million pound mark, whereas United go, here's 60 plus Jesse Lingard, and that gets accepted, then Manchester United have all the cards. So Manchester United are in a very strong situation, a very, very strong situation to get Declan Rice. And I think the interesting bit about this is they don't have to sell. The interesting bit for me is they don't have to sell Pogba or Donny or any of that to get Declan Rice because of how they've structured their deals. Maybe something at Manchester United is on the up. That could be huge. That could be huge. Mustafa says Rice, Pogba, Bruno, best midfield in the Prem. Yes, obviously, as I've also said, Ollie wants to take away that double pivot. He wants to move to a more attacking 4-3-3. Now, how would you do that? Well, you get a DM. You need one DM, sit in front of our defence, and then you have Bruno and Pogba. Now, Bruno will happily do the running. He loves running. Pogba, he'll pick a pass out for you easily. I do agree. If you get Declan Rice, I think you do genuinely have the best midfield in the Prem. Because Bruno, not only does he get assists and goals, he's also a workhorse and will drag that ball back. His press is insane. Pogba is world class. I think everyone knows Pogba is world class. You add in Declan Rice, who can cover for Pogba defensively and for Bruno defensively and allow them a bit more freedom going forward. might as well, a lot more respect needs to be put on United's name for that. I truly believe that. But let's move to Chelsea. Robert Lewandowski, big one here. Chelsea will swoop to price Robert Lewandowski away from Bayern Munich in a £50 million deal. Chelsea have failed to tempt Borussia Dortmund into accepting a player plus cash deal for 150 million rated hotshot Erling Haaland. This is according to Alan Nixon. Now, Alan Nixon is a very well-respected journalist who does do a lot of... he knows quite a bit. He actually knows a lot more than people think. He knows about the non-leagues, lower leagues as well. He's commented about our goal stuff and he's been right. And he's commented about Premier League teams and been right. So he's a very well-rounded journalist who normally gets it right, who normally is getting it right. And if he's saying this, there's definitely going to be something behind it. It might not happen, but the idea is still there. Now, it doesn't shock me that Chelsea are looking for Lewandowski. If they can't get Haaland, then, you know, Kane, very difficult to get Harry Kane to Chelsea because you have to deal with Daniel Levy. It would be easier to prize Robert Lewandowski off Bayern Munich because, as we all know, Haaland is on his way to Munich probably next season or next summer, because that is what Mino Raiola said. He said, if he ain't leaving this summer, I'm walking him directly to Bayern Munich and they're having him. And Borussia Dortmund have been like, cool, yeah. We've done that with Lewandowski before. Don't threat us, Mino. Don't threaten us, Mino. Here's a Big Mac. Go shove that in your mouth and go fuck yourself. Dortmund don't get bullied by anyone. They'll lose money just to make a stand. They're weird. They're very weird. But Chelsea, for me, weren't going to pay that £150 million, nor would you expect them to. Because if you do that, then every other transfer you try and do after that is way inflated. Oh, I see you paid £150 million for Erling Haaland. We want £100 million for, I don't know, Declan Rice. Or we want £100 million for Souček. Or, oh, you want a centre-back? Give me £150 million, you rich bastards. Ruins transfers going forward. It is mad. Zachary says, you just made me want a Big Mac. I do apologise. Big Macs are quite nice, though, I've heard. But last but not least, before I open the lines, let's talk Danny Ings to Tottenham. BBC Sport reported earlier this month that a Saints striker rejected a new deal at the South Coast club, with the 28-year-old forward wanting to test himself at a higher level. Then, the Telegraph reported a week later that Spurs made Ings their priority signing this summer, with new manager Nuno Espirito Santo wanting to play him in a front two alongside Harry Kane. Ings has reportedly made it clear that he will not extend his deal at Southampton, with under 12 months remaining on his contract at St Mary's. The former Liverpool striker is not short of admirers either, with both Manchester clubs United and City reportedly keen for a move for Saints Telsman. United scrap them out. There's no report saying United want Ings. No, nothing. Now in what is some bad news for Spurs, Ings is holding out for either Man City or Man U to come in this summer for him, according to a report from TalkSport. Again, take United out there. No interest from United in Ings. There is, however, interest from City for Ings. Pep seeing this man as a guy who can finish the chances inside City's box. Saints boss Ralph Hasenhüttl recently admitted that Ings' current contract dilemma is not an ideal situation for the club or the player himself. Speaking to BBC Radio Solent, the Southampton manager said, "We need this player. We want him to play for us. He ain't staying at Southampton." I think everything he has done so far this season has been mega. It has been mega. So I don't see him staying. I do see him, however, going to Manchester City if they can't prize Harry Kane off Tottenham. The thing is, if Harry Kane was to leave for Spurs, then Danny Ings will leave for Tottenham. I firmly believe, because why wouldn't you? I mean, if you're if you're holding out for a deal from the Manchester clubs, they go get a different striker. And United, I know no interest in getting a striker this summer anyway. Ollie wanted one apparently, but he's been told no. You've got Greenwood and Cavani. We need to deal with the other situations first. We'll reassess next season. So I think with all of that, Manchester United are not in for Danny Ings at all, and I really don't think that. I don't think Ings will stay at Southampton. Now, as the season, well, as the summer goes on and the time goes on, maybe Ings might change his mind or sense that something with City isn't going to happen. And then he might say, screw it, I'll go to Tottenham. Partnership with Harry Kane, probably a good lethal partnership. What does that mean for Son? Fuck knows. You tell me what that means for Son. Him and Son have been inseparable for quite some time at Tottenham. But maybe as the summer goes on, Danny Ings might end up at Spurs or change his mind saying, look, City clearly aren't coming in for me. I'm going to go to Spurs. That could happen. But as it stands right now, he doesn't want to stay at Southampton. He does want that bigger challenge. And therefore, I think he probably will end up leaving. Southampton will want money for him. They're not going to want him. They're not in a position right now. You hear whilst I was reading it about Brandon Williams. Southampton don't have money. They simply don't have the money for any real deals, really. So it is a bit crazy. I have put the link in the chat for anyone to come on and have their say. Obviously, what we're talking about, we'll go from quickly. We're talking Harry Wilson to Fulham. A really interesting story about this young man. We'll see if he actually does end up at Fulham. He is looking like he's the next Liverpool player to be on his way out. We're talking Jordan Henderson. Obviously, Jordan is apparently could be on his way to Paris Saint-Germain. That in itself is just staggering. We're also talking Manchester United and Declan Rice. Could Manchester United prize Declan Rice away from Chelsea, West Ham this summer? Matthias Pereira not in the West Brom squad amid West Ham interest. Interesting one. Matthias Pereira. He's left side, isn't he? Yeah, if I am correct, he is on the left side. He plays on the left. Or through a centre, one or two. We're also talking Robert Lewandowski to Chelsea. That one could really potentially be a very interesting one. It's a long shot, but I think any striker that Chelsea do end up getting is a long shot. And most of them are long shots. So it's a really interesting one. Can they get Robert Lewandowski? It's going to be cheaper than Haaland for sure. It'll probably be cheaper than Kane as well. And Bayern Munich probably then make a deal with Dortmund going, we're taking Haaland or Dortmund, Bayern Munich will do a deal with Mino Raiola and say, once his release clause is activated, we want Haaland, let's start discussing personal terms. As we know, Mino Raiola has said, if Haaland doesn't go this summer, then Mino Raiola will just walk him to Bayern Munich himself, and he'll join them. Dortmund went, okay, cool. We did that with Robert Lewandowski, but cool. Suit yourself. And they'll still get 70 odd million, so I'm sure they'll be quite happy about that. They're not going to lose him for free. It's just going to be a reduced amount of money. But how reduced is it? Because it seems no club is paying that 150 million. So if no club is paying that 150 million, you sort of offset the books, don't you? You go, well, how much are they willing to give? They're willing to give us 60 million. Well, that's less than the release clause next season. So no, you can't have him for 60. And no, we don't want a player instead. You either cough up the full cash of the 150 mil that we want, or you don't get him. That is Dortmund's stance. I think that the issue for Chelsea is if Chelsea don't get him this summer, I think he doesn't go to Chelsea. In fact, he doesn't come to the Premier League. I'm sure of it, because there's too many big clubs sort of sniffing around Haaland next year. Who are you going to have? Are you going to have Munich around? So Munich are going to be sniffing around. You're going to have Real Madrid sniffing around. You're going to have Barcelona, PSG. You're going to have Chelsea. United, City, Liverpool, all of them probably most likely will be sniffing around. So instantly you look at that and you go, oh shit. Then possibly even Juventus, although I don't think they'll be the right place for him. So you look at some of the clubs you got the Bayern Munich, you got the both Spanish clubs, 4 Premier League clubs. I mean, the chances of you being able to do that deal is about a 1 in 8 chance. Now, 1 in 8 is better than 1 in a million, but it's still not great odds because this season it's a 1 in 1 odd, right? So you're the only one in for him. Very much United are the only ones in for Jadon Sancho. They're the only ones in for Rafael Varane. This is a 1-horse race for Chelsea, and if they can't get him this year, then they go from a 1-horse race to an 8-horse race. The chances of winning that race then becomes even weaker by the second. So I think Chelsea are desperate for a striker, and they're having to move to plan B, C, D, E, F, or G. I mean, could it be conceivable that if they don't get their shit in order, could Chelsea possibly go for Danny Ings? Maybe. It depends on how desperate Chelsea are for getting a striker. If they're that desperate for getting a striker, they'll have to go for Danny Ings. If they haven't managed to get anyone, and Tuchel says, I can't do a season without a striker, maybe they do go for Danny Ings. Maybe that is what Chelsea have to go on and do. I'm sure they won't be happy about that, and I'm sure Danny Ings wouldn't be their ideal, wouldn't have been their first target by any means, but crazy. It is crazy. But obviously Danny Ings is holding out for a bigger move. So could that bigger move be Chelsea? Maybe. Maybe it could be Chelsea because Chelsea aren't a bad side. They're a very good side. Would he fit Thomas Tuchel's tactics? Yeah. I mean, he can play with his back to goal. He's also got a bit of pace that he can run onto the ball, onto through balls, and all of this. So it is a bit crazy. It is a bit crazy. Zachary says Newcastle fans are enraged. Yeah, I mean they're a special bunch anyway. But yeah, they're fuming apparently because there's a tribunal. It's been postponed till 2022. I mean, at the end of the day, the tribunal is around a country that illegally streams the Premier League into their country. And Newcastle fans seriously think the Premier League are just going to let them in? I don't think so. I mean, any Newcastle fan thinking that is either deluded or dumb as fuck. Because the Premier League is they're a huge organisation. Now, they sell their asset, right? So the Premier League sells their asset, the Premier League broadcasting rights, to different countries. So they sell it to the Sky, sell it to BT, they sell it to America, and all of these other countries. Now, if one of those countries, a very rich country, mind that, is illegally streaming their brand, the Premier League, in their country, and then wants to go buy a club in the Premier League, of course, the Premier League are like, no, we have a problem with this. So I think, whilst Newcastle fans, yeah, you can be upset, whatever, crying to a pillow or what, why are you surprised? The Premier League doesn't want to allow a country or prince or whatever who is illegally streaming their product for free in their country. I mean, apart from being dumb as fuck, how did you expect it to go? If I'm the Premier League, right, and I'm selling the asset, the Premier League, to other countries, and then this one country decides to stream it illegally free, then they want to buy a club in my brand, I'm going to tell them to get fucked. And that's what the Premier League have done. But we have got Herbert backstage. I'm just going to bring him in now. How are we doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Dylan says, hi, just played Rocket League with Spanish lass. I've pulled. Jokes, she said I was crapping after the game. Unlucky Dylan. Big up now. Still can't get over last night. It was so hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious. If you haven't checked it out, the EFL show with me, Aaron, and Charlie yesterday on the first XI was absolutely hilarious. We did all things League One, and by the end of it, I was in stitches. I told a few of them to get American owners to piss them off a bit. Just get anyone better than Mike Ashing, and RJ will be on in a second. But Herbert, I'll go to you first, mate. Manchester United. The news coming out is that they're not finished once they've got Varane. Apparently, they can actually afford Declan Rice without selling Pogba because of how they've structured the deals with Sancho and Rafael Varane. Do you see Manchester United going for Declan Rice? I mean, Chelsea have got their own shit to do, like, I don't know, find a striker. But it does appear that, Rafael, that United might go for Declan Rice whilst Chelsea's preoccupied trying to get a striker.
Declan Rice, United, no chance. I don't believe that. I think they have put a 100 million price tag on him, if I'm not wrong. And we just can't afford that.
Yeah.
Even if you structure any kind of deal.
Yeah, but
we can't do that.
Think about it logically. Declan Rice has said he's going to be upset if West Ham don't consider bids of over 60 million. Fair enough. He says, I came here for free. You're not renting me for money. If 60s or something above comes in, you should be considering that. And also, Manchester United have this one asset that the West Ham really want as well, but can't afford. That asset of Jesse Lingard. Now, if Manchester United are smart, walk up to West Ham and go, here's 60 million pounds and Jesse Lingard, we'll take Declan Rice now, please. I think West Ham take that, to be fair.
Yeah, I think the answer is in your question only if Manchester United are smart. I mean, we are not smart. We don't do kind of business. I'm very skeptical of United's, whole business thing, this motor business. Everyone is saying motor masterclass, Woodward is back and all this nonsense. I don't believe that. I think it's just too.
Yeah.
I mean, you just mentioned, right? If you can get all these players, have to pay them off in next 3 years. So just assume the next 3 years we don't have any budget to spend because we'll be paying off these players' wages and the players' transfers. So 30 million. So
United are just doing what any normal big club sort of does. Most transfers now are paid in installments. Very rarely, I think only Chelsea are the ones, and Chelsea probably pay it in cash still. They probably go to a bank, withdraw like 80 million pounds and walk in with like bags full of cash going, here's your money.
But I only hope with Declan Rice is that he is British and we sort of are building some kind of a British, British Galactico team. We tend to signing only British players. So the hope is that Ollie, he is one player I will take from the England board. He's good, but not for 100 million.
I don't think anyone's paying 100 million, mate, and I think West Ham know that. I think their 100 million pound valuation is how do I say this? Wishful at best. I think they're wishful. I think they're like, we'd love 100 million. We're not getting 100 million. That's probably what they're saying in the board. Put him out for 100 million. Okay, we're not getting 100. Right, we'll lower it down. Actually, if we can get Lingard, it's really one of them. I do think United can go for him. I think you should go for him as well because there's a lot of who's the French guy we've spoken about, Camavinga. Camavinga's first choice is PSG, so he'll probably end up at PSG. Let's be real. Declan Rice's first choice is Chelsea. Well, Chelsea are currently way too occupied getting a striker in. And to be honest, they're not probably willing to go above 60, 70 million because they could probably go get Tchouaméni or something. So I think there is other options for Chelsea. I don't think there's many other options for Manchester United. I think United really want Declan Rice.
There's one more cynical idea I have is that United somehow feel that Scott McTominay is our Declan Rice. So if you bring Declan Rice, you have to bench Scott McTominay. I don't think...
Trust me. Well, Ollie wants to rip up the double pivot according to some sources. He wants to move to a 4-3-3, which instantly means that double pivot is no more, which is good because that double pivot is crime it's a crime against football, really. It's horrific.
Yeah.
Lanzi says Lingard is a dud, Pereira is better. I mean, Lanzi, you definitely weren't saying that last season when Lingard was playing for you.
Andreas Pereira is not even Brazilian, man. He's a Belgian. He's a fraud.
You spot any moves while you're away, Wolf? Okay. Pereira is the worst player in the United team. Lingard, clear. Think he's on about the other Pereira. You're on about. He's on about the United Pereira or West Brom Pereira.
United Pereira, the Andreas Pereira.
Absolutely, you're. That's disgusting. Oh, Matthias Pereira. Oh, fair. Yeah, not the same player either.
Yeah.
One of them. Velshwan, I want to go to you next because this one has blown up the internet. Jordan fucking Henderson, talk to me.
It's actually ridiculous what FSG are doing. Mm-hmm. You're not. So confused. All I heard one reporter saying that, we need to sort out the contract. Just sort the fucking contract. Like, Genie left because he wasn't given the contract he needed because he wanted to stay at the club longer. And he felt like he needs to earn more money because there's players like Naby Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain who earn more than him and have done fuck all for this club. Actually, Oxlade made some stuff, but Keita's done fuck all. And he's left. Jordan Henderson, he wants to stay. Like, he loves his club. The only club he will go if he leaves is Sunderland. He's not going to PSG. He's not going to Atletico. He's definitely not going to United.
He will happily walk himself into PSG because I think he will have that respect for Liverpool. He won't go to another English club, but you are right about that. I mean, he has to earn a living, mate. He has to earn the money, right? Now, not many clubs can afford a Henderson, so he will walk himself to PSG or Atletico Madrid in respect of Liverpool. Because he will have that respect of, look, I'm not going to go play for your main rivals. I'm not going to go to United or City or Everton or any of that crap. I'm going to be respectful. I'm going to leave the country and I'm going to calm down. I think he would go to PSG. I think he genuinely would and link up with Gini Wijnaldum as well.
I don't think so.
He would, easily. He would. They'll pay his wages. He won't disrespect Liverpool by going to PSG because they're not your main competitors.
I don't think it's just the wages. He just wants to stay at the club longer.
Well, yeah, but the reason that it's stalling is wages, mate. Mm-hmm. He ain't going to work for free, right? This whole idea of he'll just work for free. No, he won't. Your players like Henderson, like Gini Wijnaldum have been taken the absolute piss out of by your owners. So they will have John Henderson, make no doubt about it, would go to PSG. I really feel that. Because why wouldn't he? He's going to one of the biggest clubs in Europe with one of the biggest wages. Look at the team he'll play with. Ramos, Gini Wijnaldum, Verratti, Neymar, Mbappe, Donnarumma. I mean, he's going to what you can only assume is partly a Galactico and he could win the Champions League with PSG. Why would he not join PSG?
I don't think he'll join them now. That's what I'm saying.
Why?
Like
Why? Well, the quote is let me go find it. Henderson, the situation has come to a shock to supporters who saw Henderson lead their club to a first domestic title since 1990, but he would be prepared to move if Liverpool give the indication they're ready to sell. So he's more than happy, more than willing to leave. So he don't want to run his contract down, you see, in respect of Liverpool.
Yeah, I think he doesn't want to leave, but FSG are just trying to make him leave. Like I heard other Liverpool fans like Bissam talking on history about, it could be the incidents with the Super League thing, where Henderson was the one who led the other Premier League captains to go against it, and FSG were like the part owners of it.
Well, they're hardly going to be fucking happy about that, are they? I mean, they were very. You are right. It could definitely have that impact because of the Super League. You could easily be right. I also think that Liverpool FSG don't like losing money. They like to drain every last penny out of every last player. So losing Gini Wijnaldum for free would have absolutely made them fuming. They would have been raging. They won't want that to happen again. So what do? They sell before he gets to his last year contract so he can get as much money as possible. They'll get 30 million for Henderson.
Yeah,
that's what FSG will do.
You'll get money, but like it's gonna have an impact on the team as a whole. Like you saw, like young players, like especially like young midfielders like Curtis Jones, Leighton Clarkson, Jack Kane. They're obviously looking up to Jordan Henderson because not Henderson
of course they would.
On the pitch. Off the pitch, he does it as well. And if he leaves, then they will leave as well because they don't have someone to look up to.
Of course they will. Well, they might not leave, but the impact of what happens with Henderson leaving has an impact for everyone. It's such an impact that how do you deal with this? That is the question. It is a bit shocking if I'm being perfectly honest. But I want to go to RJ about this one because obviously RJ being a direct rival of Liverpool must be absolutely smiling from like a Cheshire cat today. Are you there, RJ?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, sorry, just my mic was just acting like an absolute. Go on. Yeah, sorry about Liverpool.
Yeah, as a main rival of Liverpool, you must be firstly grinning like a Cheshire cat, because you must be grinning from ear to ear because them losing Henderson is.
The worst thing that's happened to them.
I don't think. I'm trying to think of United losing the player. I can only really assume Ronaldo. When you replace him with when you replace him with like Oberchan. There was clearly a difference in quality. That's the only thing I can really class this as because you look at what Henderson has done for Liverpool, being a huge part of their club. That is the only one I can really think about is Ronaldo at United, where he was such an impactful player in your club. Obviously, not ability-wise, Henderson is nowhere near, but in terms of impact, it's very similar. What is your feelings, and do you think Henderson will end up leaving this summer?
Well, first off, I know how Liverpool fans are feeling. Genuinely, I know how this. I've been through this many times. I kind of see this kind of like Kane leaving Spurs in the sense, kind of just like the best player with the most passion, with the most energy that gives the team leaving. This is big deals happening, boys. And look, do I see this happening? Potentially. People were saying the exact same things about Gini Wijnaldum, saying, "Oh, he'll never leave. He'll sign the contract." When you're making less money than Naby Keita and bloody, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who really is only famous for his wife. But no, look, in general,
I'm sorry. It's just Keita. Keita's the one that's
RJ's just killed Ox.
I'm sorry. But I mean,
murder on the dance floor.
It is what it is. You know what I mean? No. Look, in general, I think it's good by the two lads, by Gini Wijnaldum and Jordan Henderson. The thing is, you should not be picked on when you're a professional footballer on the highest of levels. You should state your worth, and if they can match it, tough luck. You move. You pick someone who can meet your worth. And it's the same as Pogba, right? Pogba wants this amount of money, and if we don't give it to him, he'll leave. Simple as that, boys. There's no doubt about that. But when you're talking about a person like Jordan Henderson, realistically, if he did not get injured the season where he won the league, right, he would have gone undefeated. He would have. He got injured. He lost to Watford. He lost to Watford because you had no one in that team who could lead your squad.
The best bit is look at last season when he was moved to centre back. Look at that midfield last season. It was something I can only assume was absolute dog shit.
And that's the thing about Liverpool. I literally said, I was doing a predictions video with Lewis, and I said, look, my early draft picks, right, where I literally just say this is right now how I feel. I said Liverpool to come fifth, just about, because I said their squad depth is horrible. You have no one to actually challenge for, like, except for Mohamed Salah. If Salah gets injured next season, lads, you might as well kiss your fucking European.
Well, RJ, you're forgetting he's got African Cup of Nations in January.
I know that's exactly another point I put into consideration.
I mean, that is virtually him being injured because he's going to be away for about how long is the African Cup of Nations? A month.
He's gonna.
No, they'd be back in March.
It's only a month.
Is it?
Gonna
I swear they're back in March.
No.
Regardless of the point, he's going to be out for a certain amount of time in January, right? Now, you think
Gonna miss about
right?
what 4 or 5 games? We missed about 4 or 5
games.
He'll miss the FA Cup third round, so probably out of the
9th of January to 6th of February.
Okay, so
yeah, so you'll have him for the third round of the FA Cup, but you'll miss him for maybe 4, 5, 6 Premier League games.
Yeah, and that could be big games. You never know. Check your January games, right?
Yeah. Oh god, yeah.
Right. So let's base off their team, right? Yes, on paper they have one of the best teams in the league, starting 11. They do, right? They do. However, there's a little underlining issues that they have, right? Alisson, good keeper and all that, good keeper, but he has made a lot of mistakes last season, right? A lot of mistakes. So I think we'll have to see how he is this season. We'll have to see.
I'm giving him a off.
So the games that he's gonna miss, he's only gonna miss 3.
Okay.
So he'll miss Brentford at home, Crystal Palace away, and Leicester at home.
Okay, that's
the first 2 is winnable. The third one against Leicester is going to be a tough one.
I think the Brentford one you better watch out, because like I said, if Ivan Toney is a Timu Pukki from his first season in the Premier League,
I mean,
you better watch.
To be fair, you're fucking lucky that it's not from like December, because if not, you'd have missed him for Leicester away. Well, Leicester away, Chelsea away. Oh. I mean, you're lucky. You're very fucking lucky there. Very lucky. But you're also without Mane. You lose Mane as well, so you lose him both Salah and Mane.
And who else? They lose. They lose.
Keita's probably got, but he doesn't matter.
Keita is pretty much like on a bloody surgery bed at this rate, trying to get
Matip going because he's retired from his international team.
Here. Okay, so let's base off your team, right? Robertson, right? Really good, one of the best left backs in the league, arguably.
What do you mean one of the best? He is the best.
Well, Luke Shaw is up there. You can't discredit Luke Shaw.
Yeah, Luke Shaw's up there, but he's not the best.
Okay, well, it's very close between the two. Then who's his replacement? Some Greek player that we've never heard of? Tashitas. Yeah, there's shit in his name. That's why he's.
He pocketed Gnabry in the Champions League.
Congratulations. How'd that go? You know what I mean? Look, he's not good, mate, right? Then you look at your centre backs. Van Dijk come back from a year injury. Gomez come back from a year injury. Konate, who is so injury prone when he was at
Leipzig. He is not injury prone. No,
mate, I Leipzig he was.
This is where
he was. At Leipzig
he's not.
He was.
People need to understand that he had the same injury because he was rushed back too early.
Yeah.
We did a proper medical scan on him in here, and we're doing it perfectly. And he's a young guy.
Liverpool do the exact same thing. Look at players like Naby Keita. He brought him way too quick. What happened? Oh no, his
one is different. It's not because him rushing back. He's genuinely
he did rush him back. Last season, you rushed him back. Newsflash. That's not what you should do with a football player.
No.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
We didn't even rush him back.
You brought him back, and he got injured after 2 games. Do you remember last season?
No, it wasn't rushing back. He was literally shit for those 2 games. There's a difference
then he got injured.
There's a difference between rushing back and being shit. When he was playing, he did not perform.
He should have been even playing this season or last season, right? Realistically, he should not. He should have taken a year out, kind of what we should do with Rashford, right? And said, look, you're going to take a rest off. You're going to get your body back into shape, build up the muscle, get back to your normal self that you once were when you were a naturally talented footballer, and you will be back to normal, right? Moving on, all right? So
but the difference is he literally just got injured in training. He literally listen. He was literally fully fit and literally in training. He didn't even play a game. He was like, he's planning to play. Then he just gets injured. Yeah. Tell me how just rushing him back, but he gets injured on the plane. Explain how he gets injured on the plane.
Listen, mate.
He goes into a plane.
Injuries happen all the time.
Yeah, but that's not due to management. Because if you're just walking up to you're literally walking up to a plane, take the flight, you walk off the plane, and you get injured. How was that a Klopp thing? Explain.
Klopp should not have even put him in this squad, in my opinion. He should have said to Keita, get the head out, right? Not loan. I'm just saying, look, chill out for now. You can't play for now because, like I said, if you come back, you're going to get injured. We want you back as fit as possible.
Well, they have.
That's not.
Right, guys.
Come on,
we're going man in circles here.
Yeah, okay.
In terms of Naby Keita, one more injury and he's gone. One more injury and Liverpool will tell him to fuck off because you can't carry on like this. Look, you've put him through proper rehab now, all of that lovely stuff. One more injury, he's gone. Because at the end of the day, it's too much. But RJ, do you think Henderson will leave this summer?
It's really only a matter of time. I don't think he. Do I think he will? Maybe, but I don't think he should for Liverpool's sake. Because if he does, Trent Alexander-Arnold will be affected. Your whole team will be affected. I mean, look at him last season, Trent. He was dog shit when thing was gone. Do you know why? Because Henderson did a bit of work to help Trent go forward.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, it is what it is.
At the end, but
If Henderson goes, you can kiss your championship goodbye. You can kiss everything goodbye because your midfield is not going to be repaired. Right? You've sold 2 players. Like I said, it happened to United. Look at Ander Herrera. Literally one of my favorites. Literally from the last 5 years of this club. Gone. What did United do? Oh yeah, we'll try and replace him. Didn't replace him. Right? Romelu Lukaku. Sold him. Did they replace him? No, they didn't. They said, "Oh, let's rely on Anthony Martial, the guy who will get us back to the top." Do you know what I mean? The guy who is definitely not lazy and definitely needs a bit of a wake-up call when it comes to his career. All right? That's what I'm telling you. I know what you're going through, Valve. Literally, it's true. It's happened to United many, many times where we've sold our best player, quite honestly, a player that will make the most difference, and look what happens. We don't replace it. So It is what it is. And like I said, you look at United. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. All right, doesn't that give you an indication of how we've been run? Do you mean FSG? You could argue that they're worse than the Glazers. I mean,
they're not worse.
I don't know. They've put in about as well.
I mean, to be fair, at least FSG kind of did an apology video. Harbans just said, we're sorry. We'll say sorry to Ollie, but like, fuck the fans.
He literally, John Henry literally just read his script.
Guys, I'm gonna go sunbathe in a minute, so we're hurrying this up. Herbert, quickly, do you think John Henderson will leave Liverpool this summer?
No, not for me. I don't think so because if he leaves, there's going to be a huge problem in the Liverpool fan base, and it's like Van Dijk got injured last, and if he leaves, it's almost a similar, if not more. Because Henderson, I don't really rate Henderson as a footballer, but for what he does for Liverpool, like irreplaceable. So I don't see that because you can't buy a Henderson replacement. As a footballer, you can buy, but you couldn't buy his influence. So
no, I'd agree with that.
I mean,
what wages is he on? Like, how much does he on?
He's at 130 or 40k a week.
Who?
Henderson.
He should be making at least.
I think that's same as K. I'll double check.
What he does for that club, he should be making literally 200.
Mata makes 150 for us and he barely plays.
But who's that? Who?
Juan Mata, he makes 150.
Oh, but Mata's been here at the club for ages, man. Come on, give him.
But our wage structures are different from the clubs. Our wage structure is very low.
Yeah, our ones are like fucking. There's like Dav De Gea who's near on 350k a week, which I think is mad.
Velvishwan, do you think Jordan Henderson will leave this summer?
No.
Fair enough. This one is definitely going to be one that I think we'll probably be revisiting this subject because
100%.
I don't think this saga's done by any stretch of the imagination.
Don't worry now, our fans are still going to celebrate that we have Konate. It's fine.
Just Konate. Imagine deciding over one signing. Couldn't be Liverpool.
It is certainly.
Isn't he injury prone as well?
No, he's rushed back too early from Leipzig.
Well, we'll just see, won't we? We'll see. But we are going to wrap it up there. We'll be back at 10 p.m. with another episode of Transfer Talk. We've got the Late Show as well at 11:30 with me and Matt. So that'll be really good. We're doing kit previews, so we're going to be looking at all the kits from every team, and then we're going to rate all the kits from every team. I'm sure that other things will get spoken about as well, because that's what the Late Show has no structure. It's just talk about whatever, really. Whatever's going on, I'm sure Henderson will also get spoken about that day. But before we go, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel with notifications on. Check out our socials, Twitter, Let's Talk EPL, Instagram, Let's Talk EPL _, TikTok, Let's Talk Premier League. RJ, where can they find you, mate?
Yeah, pretty much find me on any social media, Robotic Jaguar. That's what it is, to be fair. Make sure you do subscribe, lads. We're nearly at 365 subs, is it?
Yeah, we're on the road to 400 at the moment.
Yeah. So come on, lads. Let's get it done. 2 more, and we'll easily get there. Nearly 10.9 for myself, so let's keep on going.
Yeah, and we're also club shows back next week. I think United show, Liverpool show, Arsenal show, maybe. All of that Chelsea show, that will be back next week as well. Herbert, where can they find you, mate?
Yeah, on Twitter at Herbert1550.
Perfect. And Velvishwan, where can they find you, mate?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram at vel_skills. Fuck FSG.
Perfect. Well, until next time, thanks for watching, guys, and peace out.